The waiter's face said it all. He'd seen countless marriage proposals at Maison Rouge, but watching a marriage end, that was new entertainment. My husband of 10 years had just announced he was leaving me for his assistant, right after ordering the champagne. I'm Lorelei, and this is how my anniversary dinner turned into my divorce announcement. You can't be serious, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. The candlelight caught the edge of David's smirk as he adjusted his tie, the blue silk one I'd given him last Christmas. Actually, I've never been more serious, he replied, reaching for his wine glass. Claire and I have been together for months. She understands ambition, drive, unlike some people who waste their time with meaningless coding projects. The waiter hovered uncertainly by our table, champagne bottle still in hand. David waved him away. When were you planning to tell me? I asked, folding my napkin with precise movements. Or was humiliating me on our anniversary part of the plan? Consider it efficient time management, David laughed. Besides, you should thank me for my timing. The market's been good to us, and Clara's father is a divorce attorney. He's already drawn up the papers. My stomach clenched. The market? What have you done with our accounts? Secured my future, he said, pulling out his phone. Speaking of which, Clara's waiting at Le Petit. Thought I'd give her the good news in person. He stood, straightening his jacket. Oh, and don't bother checking the joint accounts. I've already moved everything. Your freelance work barely covered our groceries anyway. I watched him toss $300 bills on the table. For the champagne we didn't drink, he winked. And Lorelei? Don't call me. My lawyer will be in touch. The restaurant fell silent as he walked out. I could feel pitying glances from nearby tables, hear the whispers. The waiter approached cautiously like I might shatter. Madam, would you like me to? The check, please. I cut him off. In that champagne? I'll take it to go. The drive home was a blur of city lights and quiet rage. Our house, my house now, I suppose, looked exactly as we'd left it 2 hours ago. David's running shoes by the door, his coffee mug in the sink, his laptop charging on the kitchen counter. I walked past it all, straight to my home office. My hands were steady as I opened my laptop and entered my password. A notification blinked in the corner. Backup complete. Operation anniversary. David always said I wasted time with my meaningless coding projects. He never bothered to ask what I actually did for a living, never showed interest in my previous career in cybersecurity, never questioned why I chose to work freelance despite multiple corporate offers. I opened my secure email and typed a quick message. Stefan, it happened. Executing Plan B. Send me confirmation when you receive the package. 3 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Holy shit, Lore. The timestamps on these transactions. How long have you known? I smiled, remembering the first red flag 6 months ago. A suspicious email, a hidden bank alert, the way David started taking calls in the garden. Long enough, I replied. Is it all there? Every dirty detail. But are you sure about this? Once we move forward. I took a sip of the anniversary champagne straight from the bottle and typed my response. He just drained our accounts and walked out with his assistant on our 10th anniversary. He thinks I'm a naive coding hobbyist who'll quietly accept whatever crumbs his lawyer offers. Another message from Stefan. Your choice. But remember, no turning back. I opened my special folder, the one I'd been building for months. David's emails, financial records, recording snippets from his private calls in the garden. The algorithm I'd written to track his money movements had caught everything. My phone buzzed again, a text from David. Don't bother trying to log into the accounts. Changed all the passwords. Be reasonable about the divorce and maybe I'll leave you your car. I looked at my screen, at the folder labeled David's downfall, and felt a calm settle over me. He thought he'd written the ending to our story. He had no idea I'd been coding it for months. I clicked encrypt on the folder and typed one final message to Stefan. Release the first package tomorrow at 9 a.m. Let's show my husband what a coding hobbyist can really do. The champagne tasted better with every sip. Tomorrow David would learn that hell hath no fury like a woman with admin access. I hadn't slept. Why bother when revenge tastes better than dreams? By 8:45 a.m. I was already on my third coffee, watching my monitors like a hawk. Package delivered? Stefan message. You sure about the timing? Trust me, I replied. David always checks his emails at 9 a.m. sharp. Corporate habit. While waiting, I pulled up the surveillance feed I'd installed months ago. The first red flag hadn't been the lipstick on his collar or late-night meetings. It was the banking alert. A new account opened in the Caymans with transfers too neat to be legitimate. My phone rang. Stefan. You're actually going through with this, he said instead of hello. Good morning to you too. Lore, I've known you since college. You're the girl who reported herself for accidentally accessing the dean's email. I laughed. People change. Marriage changes you. Betrayal changes you more. Just walk me through it again. What exactly tipped you off? I pulled up the files on my screen. 3 months ago, David started making calls from the garden, always at 3 p.m., always to the same encrypted number. I wrote a simple program to record them. And my darling husband was orchestrating quite the scheme. Fake vendors, inflated contracts, money flowing through shell companies, classic embezzlement, but with a tech twist. I clicked through the evidence. He used Clara's computer to process the transactions. Stupid man thought it would cover his tracks. How much? 7 million. Give or take a few $100,000. Stefan whistled. And Clara? She's just a pawn. Young, impressionable, probably thinks she's in love. David's good at that, making people feel special while he uses them. My screen lit up with an incoming email from David. What the hell did you do? I smiled. Right on schedule. Gotta go, Stefan. Phase 1 is starting. I opened my email and typed, Good morning, David. Problems at the office? His response was immediate. How did you access those files? Those accounts were secure. Secure? I replied. Like our marriage, our joint accounts? Tell me, does Clara know she's your fall guy? The phone rang. David. Listen here, you vindictive bit. No, you listen, I cut him off. Check your private email, the one you use for the Cayman transfers. You have new documents waiting. I heard furious typing, then silence. How? His voice shook. How long have you known? Long enough to document everything, every transfer, every fake contract, every call where you coach Clara through processing fraudulent payments. I paused. By the way, recording someone without their knowledge is illegal in our state, except when you have reasonable suspicion of criminal activity. Funny how that works. What do you want? Want? I want nothing from you, David. But in about an hour, your company's fraud department will receive an anonymous tip. In 2 hours, they'll freeze all suspicious accounts. By lunch, they'll have questions for Clara. You wouldn't. Wouldn't I? You left me at our anniversary dinner, called my work meaningless, drained our accounts. I took a sip of coffee. But here's what you never bothered to learn about me. Before freelancing, I designed fraud detection algorithms for banks. The ones your company uses? That was me. Silence. You have 60 minutes, David. Better warn Clara, or don't. I'm sure she'll understand when they call her in for questioning. I hung up and messaged Stefan. He took the bait. Start phase 2? Already done. Company investigators are accessing the files now. You sure about burning Clara? I pulled up Clara's personnel file. 26 first real job, glowing recommendations. She's not the target, trust me. My phone buzzed with text from David. You'll regret this. I'll destroy you. Everything you own is in my name. I screenshot them all. Evidence of threats would look good in court. Another call from Stefan. Lore, they're moving faster than expected. Security just escorted Clara to HR. I opened my traffic cam feed of David's office building. Right on cue, he was rushing out, phone to his ear. Perfect, I said. Send the offshore account records now. Let's see how he explains $7 million in unauthorized transfers. Done. But Lore, this will ruin him. His career, reputation, everything. I watched David pace outside his building, probably calling his lawyer. He ruined our marriage on our anniversary, Stefan, called my work meaningless, tried to leave me penniless. I closed my laptop. He thought I was just a wife who played with computers. Time to show him what this coder can really do. What's next? I grabbed my keys. Now I'm going to get breakfast and watch the show. Call me when they take him in for questioning. The morning sun felt warm on my face as I walked to my car. Somewhere across town, David's world was crumbling, one line of code at a time. My sister's house looked exactly as I remembered. Perfect lawn, designer curtains, and judgment waiting behind the door. I hadn't visited Genesis in months, but desperate times called for desperate measures. She opened the door in yoga wear, green smoothie in hand. Lorelei, what are you doing here? David left me. Her perfectly manicured hand froze mid-sip. Come in, tell me everything. I followed her into her immaculate living room, noting the fresh flowers, the expensive art. Genesis had always been the successful sister, the one who married rich, who played by society's rules. When? She asked, perching on her white leather sofa. Last night, anniversary dinner. I sat across from her. He's been sleeping with Clara, his assistant. Genesis's expression shifted, just slightly, but I caught it. Clara, the blonde one. You knew? She looked away. I heard rumors at the company party last month. And you didn't tell me? Would you have listened? She set down her smoothie. You've always been so cold with him, always working, always with your computers. I felt my jaw clench. He's stealing from the company, Jen. Millions. Don't be ridiculous. But her voice wavered. $7 million in offshore accounts, fake contracts, money laundering. I leaned forward. Ring any bells? She stood abruptly. You need to leave. Why? Because you helped him? I didn't. Save it. I saw your signature on the shell company documents. Genesis Consulting, LLC. Real subtle. She paced the room. You don't understand. David needed help rebranding some accounts. It was temporary. Temporary fraud is still fraud, Jen. He said it was for tax purposes. She whirled on me. Besides, you were always too busy with your precious coding to keep him happy. What did you expect? I pulled out my phone and played a recording. David's voice discussing transfer protocols with Genesis. Her face went pale. You recorded us? No, my algorithms did. They flagged suspicious financial activity, found quite a collection of interesting calls. You spied on your own husband? I protected myself. Now I'm trying to protect you. I stood up. The company's investigating. They'll find everything. Get ahead of it, Jen. Distance yourself. She laughed bitterly. Distance myself? You have no idea what David has on me, on this family. What are you talking about? Dad's inheritance? The money that mysteriously vanished before his death? She wrapped her arms around herself. David knows where it went. Who took it? I felt the floor shift under me. Dad died broke. The medical bills. Wake up, Lorelei. Dad didn't die broke. Someone stole his money and David has proof. She grabbed her phone, showed me emails. He's been holding it over my head for months. My mind raced. That's why you helped him? Blackmail? I didn't have a choice. He threatened to expose everything. It would destroy what's left of Dad's reputation. Mom would never recover. I took the phone, forwarded the emails to myself. You always have a choice, Jen. You chose him again. What's that supposed to mean? You dated him first, remember? Then pushed him toward me when he got promoted, said we'd be perfect together. I headed for the door. Guess you never really let go. That's not fair. Neither is helping my husband steal millions and hide family secrets. I paused at the threshold. The investigators will contact you soon. Think carefully about whose side you're really on. Lorelei, wait! She grabbed my arm. What are you going to do? I gently removed her hand. What I do best, Jen. Follow the code. My phone buzzed as I reached my car. Stefan. Company's frozen all suspicious accounts. David's being called in for questioning. But we have a problem. What kind? Someone's trying to access your cloud storage. Delete files. I thought of Genesis's desperate face, her quick reach for her phone. Location of access attempt. IP traces to your sister's neighborhood. I looked back at her house. Through the window I could see her on her phone, pacing. Block all access, I typed. Initiate protocol dark. That'll lock everything down, even from you. Do it! And Stefan, send me everything you have on our father's estate. Something tells me David's not the only one who's been hiding things. I started my car just as Genesis rushed out her front door. Lorelei, please, you don't understand what you're doing. I rolled down my window. Actually, sis, for the first time in years, I understand perfectly. Say hi to David for me. As I drove away, my phone lit up with a message from an unknown number. My dear niece, I believe it's time we talked about your father's real inheritance. Aunt Camilla. The game was changing. David wasn't just my enemy anymore. He was sitting on family secrets that could destroy us all. Good thing destruction was becoming my specialty. The coffee shop across from David's office building had excellent Wi-Fi and an even better view of the chaos unfolding. I'd chosen my seat carefully. Back corner, clear sight lines, perfect for watching Clara's world implode. Target approaching, Stefan messaged. Blue dress, looking nervous. Clara walked quickly, clutching her designer bag. A recent gift from David, no doubt. My program had flagged the purchase, $3,000 from a hidden account. I opened my laptop, accessing the building's security feed. The HR floor was busy today. Miss Rogers? A man in a suit approached Clara. I'm Greg from HR. Please come with me. My phone buzzed. David. Whatever you sent Clara, she's not answering my calls. I smiled, typing back. Maybe she's busy reading your private messages. The ones where you call her useful leverage? No response. I switched back to the security feed. Clara sat in a conference room, face crumpling as Greg slid documents across the table. How's the show? Stefan asked, joining me with 2 fresh coffees. Just starting. They're showing her the transfer records. The ones where David used her login credentials? I nodded. And the emails where he coached her through processing fake invoices. Just helping with the paperwork, sweetheart. Stefan winced. You're ruthless. I learned from the best. I gestured at my screen. Watch this. Clara was shaking her head, tears streaming. Greg passed her more papers, printouts of David's private messages to his lawyer. Clara's young, naive, perfect setup. If anything goes wrong, all trails lead to her computer. Jesus, Stefan muttered. He really set her up to take the fall. Classic David. He did the same with Genesis. I took a sip of coffee. But Clara's smarter than he thinks. On screen, Clara wiped her eyes and squared her shoulders. Greg slid a statement form across the table. She started writing. My phone lit up again. David, what did you tell her? The truth. Something you should try sometime. She'll never testify against me. I watch Clara fill page after page. Want to bet? A new figure entered the conference room, tall, sharp suit, Javier from Corporate Investigations. Showtime, I murmured. Stefan leaned closer. What's she saying? Everything, the late night calls, the suspicious transfers, how David insisted she use her login for training purposes. I pulled up another window, and right about now she should be finding my little gift. Clara's phone buzzed on the conference table. She checked it, face paling. What did you send her? Stefan asked. Audio file. David telling his lawyer how expendable she is, how she'll make the perfect scapegoat when the auditors come looking. Damn, Lore. He used her, Stefan, like he used me, like he used Genesis. I closed my laptop, but unlike us, Clara has a chance to save herself. Through the building's glass walls, I watched Clara stand, hands steady as she signed papers. Javier nodded approvingly. My phone chimed with alerts. Breaking, major fraud investigation at Burton Technologies. Executive assistant turns whistleblower. Multiple arrests expected in corporate scandal. You didn't just destroy his reputation, Stefan said quietly. You demolished his safety net. He demolished it himself. I just showed everyone the truth. Clara emerged from the building, eyes red but head high. She paused on the steps, looking lost. Excuse me, I told Stefan, grabbing my bag. Outside, I approached Clara. Rough day? She looked up, not recognizing me. You could say that. Let me guess. Lying boss? Fraudulent transfers? Found out you were being set up. Her eyes narrowed. Who are you? David's wife, soon to be ex-wife. She stepped back. Oh, God. Don't worry, I'm not here to fight. I handed her a card. This is my lawyer's number. She specializes in whistleblower protection. Call her. Why would you help me? Because you're not the villain here. You're just another woman David tried to use and discard. I turned to leave. Oh, and Clara, check your email. I sent proof that David's been siphoning money since before you started. Should help with your immunity deal. Wait, she called. Did you plan all this? I smiled. Let's just say I'm good with computers, and even better at payback. Back inside, Stefan was watching the news updates roll in. David's being called in, he said. Company's freezing all executive accounts. Perfect, I gathered my things. Next stop, Aunt Camila's. The aunt you never talk about? Why? I showed him the message on my phone. Your father's estate had more secrets than David knows. Come alone. We need to discuss your inheritance. Stefan whistled. This goes deeper than revenge now, doesn't it? It always did. I stood. I'm not just taking David down anymore. I'm uncovering every lie he's used to control my family. Outside, police cars pulled up to the office building, right on schedule. David was about to learn that karma doesn't just bite, it codes. Aunt Camila's mansion loomed against the evening sky, all Gothic architecture and old money silence, the kind of place that kept secrets in its walls. Mrs. Parker is expecting you, the housekeeper said, leading me through dimly lit corridors. I found my aunt in her study, surrounded by monitors and filing cabinets. Not exactly the setup I expected from a 63-year-old widow. Finally embracing your inheritance, I see, she said without looking up. What inheritance? Dad died broke. She laughed, a sharp knowing sound. Is that what David told you? Sit down, dear. We have much to discuss. My phone buzzed. Stefan, company investigator Javier requesting secure contact, urgent. One moment, I told Camila, stepping into the hallway to take the call. Ms. Parker, Javier's voice was clipped. We need more proof. Your initial package was illuminating, but David's lawyers are good. Check his offshore accounts, the ones under Genesis Consulting. Blocked, Someone's deleted access. I cursed under my breath. Genesis must have warned him. Give me an hour, I said. You'll have everything you need. Back in the study, Camila was watching me with amused interest. Problems with your revenge plot? How did you... Please. She turned one monitor toward me. I've been tracking your little cyber warfare campaign. Impressive work. Your father would be proud. Dad was an accountant who lost everything. Your father, she said, opening a drawer, was a whistleblower who exposed a massive financial conspiracy. It cost him his life savings, and eventually his life. She handed me a USB drive. Everything's here. The evidence he gathered, the accounts he uncovered, the people he was investigating. A pause, including David's father. My hands shook. What? Why do you think David pursued you? Married you? He needed access to your father's files to make sure nothing survived. My phone chimed again. Stefan, your cloud storage is being wiped. Someone's deleting everything. Genesis, I muttered. No, Camila said, checking her screen. David's using her credentials, but the attack is coming from a private server, one registered to his father's old company. I plugged in the USB drive, fingers flying over the keyboard. Can you stop it? Better. She smiled, typing commands. We can trace it. Your father taught me a few tricks before he died. Alerts flooded my screen. Hidden accounts, encrypted messages, a web of financial fraud spanning decades. David's father didn't just steal from companies, Camila explained. He stole evidence, used it for blackmail. David learned from the best. My phone rang. David. Having computer troubles? I answered. It's over, Lorelei. Your evidence is gone. Genesis confirmed the deletions. Really? Check your secure server. I heard furious typing, then silence. How? Say hello to Aunt Camila. Turns out she and Dad had a lot in common, including backup drives. You don't understand what you're doing, he hissed. This goes beyond us, beyond the company. I know. It goes all the way back to what your father did to mine. More silence. Javier's waiting for my call, I continued. Should I send him the full archive? Or just the parts about your family's involvement? I'll destroy you, like you destroyed my father? Camila took the phone. Hello, David. Remember me? The widow who invested in your first venture? I have some interesting documents about that, too. My laptop pinged. Stefan. Got everything. Javier's team is moving in. Check the news, David, I said, taking back the phone. Your father's legacy is about to become breaking news. I hung up as headlines started flooding in. Multi-generation financial fraud exposed. Whistleblower's death linked to corporate cover-up. Major arrests expected in historic financial crime case. Well done, Camila said, pouring 2 glasses of whiskey. But now comes the hard part. What's harder than exposing a decades-old conspiracy? Dealing with your sister. Genesis just texted. She's on her way here. My phone confirmed it. How could you? I'm coming to stop this. Let her come, I said, accepting the whiskey. It's time she learned the truth about everything. And David? I opened my laptop, accessing the final protocol I'd prepared. David thought he could erase my life. Let's see how he likes being erased. Camila raised her glass. To your father. He taught you well. No, I replied, initiating the sequence that would expose every last secret David and his family had buried. He taught us both. Outside, thunder rolled across the sky. A storm was coming, in more ways than one. Genesis burst into Aunt Camila's study like an angry storm. Mascara streaked down her face. What have you done? Expose the truth, I said, not looking up from my laptop. Something you should have helped with. David's been arrested. She slammed her hands on the desk. They're saying he killed Dad. Not directly. Camila's voice was ice cold. His father did the heavy lifting there. David just helped cover it up. Genesis collapsed into a chair. What are you talking about? I turned my laptop toward her. Remember Dad's heart attack? Look at the toxicology report David buried, the one showing trace amounts of untraceable poison. No. She shook her head. No, David wouldn't. His father would, Camila interrupted. Your father was getting too close to their operation. David married Lorelei to monitor her, to make sure she never found the evidence. But he loved me first, Genesis whispered. We dated before. He used you to get to me, I said quietly, just like he used Clara. Her face crumpled. The inheritance? He said if I helped him hide some transactions, he'd keep quiet about Dad's missing money. Dad's money didn't go missing. I pulled up the records. It was stolen by David's father. Then they poisoned him to cover their tracks. How long have you known? Not long enough. I met her eyes. But Aunt Camilla knew. She's been gathering evidence for years. Camilla opened a safe behind her desk. Your father wasn't just an accountant. He was building a case against one of the biggest financial fraud operations in the country, David's family's operation. She spread documents across the desk, bank statements, death certificates, encrypted messages. Why didn't you tell us sooner? Genesis demanded. Because David was watching, waiting. Camilla poured more whiskey. He needed to believe he had won. My phone buzzed. Stefan, police found something at David's office. You need to see this. The attached photo showed a hidden safe filled with vials and a familiar-looking bottle. The same poison, I said, showing Genesis. He was keeping it close, just in case. She vomited into the wastepaper basket. I helped him, she sobbed. Oh, God, I helped Dad's murderer. No, I moved to her side. You were another victim, but now you can help us end this. How? Testify. Tell them everything David made you do, how he blackmailed you. They'll arrest me too. Not if you help us, Camilla said. I have friends in the DA's office. They're more interested in David and his father's empire. Genesis wiped her eyes. What do you need? Access to Genesis Consulting's real books, the ones David made you keep. She pulled out her phone, hands shaking. I have them here. Everything. My laptop pinged. An email from Javier. David's talking. Claims he has evidence against your family. Let him talk, I replied, forwarding Genesis's files. We have the truth. Thunder crashed outside as Genesis hugged me for the first time in years. I'm so sorry, Laura. I should have seen it. We all should have. I hugged her back. But now we make it right. Camilla's printer hummed, spitting out documents. Sign these, she told Genesis. Full immunity in exchange for your testimony. As Genesis signed, my phone lit up with news alerts. Financial empire crumbling, multiple arrests and poison plot. Whistleblower's daughter exposes decade-long conspiracy. Corporate dynasty linked to multiple deaths. It's really over? Genesis asked. Almost. I opened my final protocol. One last thing to do. What's that? Dad had a trust fund set up, one David never found. I showed them the account details. Enough to rebuild everything his family destroyed. Camilla smiled. Your father always said revenge is best served with compound interest. My phone rang. Stefan again. Lore? David's father just landed at a private airstrip. Police are moving in. Good. I watched the numbers flow across my screen. David's empire crumbling digit by digit. Tell them to check his briefcase. The backup drive should be there. Genesis squeezed my hand. What happens now? Now? I closed my laptop. We honor Dad's legacy. We tell his story, and we make sure no one else's father dies for exposing the truth. Outside, the storm was passing. Through Camila's windows, I could see the sky clearing. To justice. Camila raised her glass. And to family secrets finally coming to light. Genesis and I raised our glasses too. Tomorrow would bring more revelations, more battles. But tonight, we were sisters again, united by truth instead of divided by lies. David thought he could bury our father's legacy in secrets and poison. Instead, he'd only made it stronger. The conference room at Burton Technologies buzzed with tension. Behind the one-way glass, I watched David being led in, handcuffed, his expensive suit wrinkled from a night in holding. "Ready for this?" Stefan asked, squeezing my shoulder. "I've been ready for months." Javier and Greg entered carrying stacks of files, David's swagger visibly deflated. "Mr. Burton," Javier began, "would you like to explain these transactions?" David leaned back, attempting confidence. "Business as usual, nothing illegal." "Business as usual?" Greg spread photos across the table. "Like the usual heart attack your father arranged for Thomas Parker?" David's face twitched. "I don't know what you're talking about." My phone buzzed. Genesis. "Dad's autopsy results just came back. They found traces. It's confirmed." I forwarded the message to Javier, who smiled coldly. "Interesting timing," he said, sliding his tablet toward David. "Your father was just arrested trying to flee the country, with some very interesting chemicals in his possession." "I want my lawyer." "Your lawyer's been arrested too," Greg replied. "Something about helping hide evidence of multiple murders." I watched David's composure crack. His eyes darted to the mirror, straight at me, though he couldn't see me. "Lorelei put you up to this," he snarled. "She's trying to frame me." "Frame you?" Javier pulled up more documents. "Like you framed Clara or blackmailed Genesis?" "Everything was legal. The transfers, the contracts." "The poison?" Greg interrupted. "The one matching the traces in Thomas Parker's system?" David went pale. "You can't prove anything." "Actually," Stefan murmured beside me, "we can prove everything." On cue, Clara walked in. David jumped up, but the security guard pushed him back down. "Clara, don't—" "Sit down, David," she said coldly. "I brought the real books, the ones you made me keep in that hidden safe, right next to your father's special medicine." My phone lit up again. "Aunt Camila, your father's old partner is talking. Everything's coming out." I forwarded that too. Javier read it and nodded. "Mr. Burton, we have witness testimony, financial records, and physical evidence linking your family to at least 3 deaths." He leaned forward. "Want to try that explanation again?" David slumped. "I want a deal." "No deals," Greg said, "but your cooperation might keep you out of maximum security." "Fine." David straightened. "But I talked to my wife first." "Ex-wife," I said, entering the room. He flinched. I sat across from him, calm and collected. Everything he wasn't. "Hello, David. Rough day?" "You destroyed everything," he spat. "No, you did that. I just exposed it." I opened my laptop. "Now, about those offshore accounts." "I'll never tell you." "Already found them, along with Dad's original evidence, the files your father thought he'd erase." I turned the screen toward him. Amazing what good coding can recover. His face contorted. He was going to expose everything. He had to be stopped. By poisoning him? Making it look like heart failure? It was my father's idea. I just helped clean up. By marrying me, keeping me close, monitoring my work? He looked away. "You were never supposed to find out." "But I did, because you underestimated me, called my work meaningless." I stood. Fatal mistake. The door opened. Genesis walked in with more files. "The trust fund transfers are confirmed," she told Javier. "They killed Dad 2 days after he discovered them." David lunged for the files. The guard grabbed him as Genesis stepped back. "Your father's waiting in the next room," Javier said. "Want to explain to him how you botched everything?" David broke. For the next hour, he spilled everything. The murders, the fraud, the decades of corruption. I recorded every word. Finally, Javier nodded to the guards. "Take him." As they led David out, he turned to me. "I did love you at first." "No," I replied. "You loved what I could give you. Access, cover, legitimacy." I closed my laptop. Guess that backfired. Outside the conference room, Stefan waited with Clara and Genesis. "It's done," I said. Clara hugged me. "Thank you for showing me the truth." "Thank you for being brave enough to tell it." My phone buzzed one last time. "Aunt Camila, your father would be proud. Come to dinner tonight, all of you. We have a legacy to discuss." I looked at my sister, at the friends who helped expose the truth, at the empire crumbling around us. "Justice looks good on you," Stefan said softly. "So does victory." I took his hand. "Let's go tell Aunt Camila how we took down a dynasty with nothing but code and courage." Behind us, David's muffled protests faded as they led him away. His last power play had failed. Sometimes karma needs a little help from a woman with a laptop and a score to settle. The coastal breeze carried the scent of salt and justice as I packed my laptop. My new office overlooked the ocean, a daily reminder that some endings are really beginnings. "Last box?" Stefan asked from the doorway. "Almost." I pulled up my terminal one final time. "Just need to delete some old files." My phone buzzed. Genesis. "Turn on the news. Sentencing is in." I switched on the wall-mounted screen just in time to see David and his father being led into court. The headline scrolled, "Financial Dynasty Falls, Multiple Life Sentences Expected." "Quite a view," Stefan said, joining me at the window. "Better than prison walls." I smiled, which is where I'd be if David had found Dad's evidence first. My laptop pinged an email from Clara. "Starting my new cybersecurity firm next week. Thanks for the recommendation letter. Coffee soon?" "She's doing well," Stefan noted. "We all are." I gestured to my growing tech consultancy office. "Amazing what happens when you stop hiding your talents." The door chimed. Aunt Camila walked in, elegant as ever. "The trust fund transfer is complete," she announced. "Your father's money returned with interest plus damages." "Keep it," I said. "Use it for the Whistleblower Protection Foundation." "Already done." She smiled. "The Thomas Parker Foundation's first case starts next week." My phone lit up again. "Javier, David's talking more. Says there are others. Want in on the investigation?" "Always," I replied. "Still fighting corruption?" Stefan asked. "Someone has to." I closed my terminal. Besides, I'm good at it. The screen showed David being sentenced. 30 years, no parole. His father got life. The camera caught David's eyes, once so confident, now hollow with defeat. "Delete the files?" Stefan asked softly. I looked at my archive folder. David's emails, the evidence, our marriage photos, 10 years of lies and 1 month of revenge. "Not yet." I turned to Camila. "First, tell me more about Dad's other cases, the ones David's talking about." She pulled out a flash drive. "Already compiled. Your father had quite the network. Many of them are still operating. Then they need to meet the Parker women." I plugged in the drive. "All of us." Genesis arrived with lunch and fresh intel. "The SEC's creating a special task force. They want us involved." "Us?" "You for the tech, me for the financial trails, Aunt Camila for the connections." She grinned. We make quite the team. I looked around my new office, at my sister, no longer divided by David's lies, at Stefan, whose loyalty never wavered, at Aunt Camilla, carrying Dad's legacy forward. One last thing, I said, pulling up my command prompt. Everyone watched as I typed. Delete, archive, Burton, David confirm, YN. My finger hovered over the key. You sure? Stefan asked. That's a lot of history. History's meant to be learned from, I replied, not lived in. I pressed Y. The files vanished, years of pain encoded into vanishing bytes. On screen, David was led away, still looking back, searching for someone to blame. To new beginnings, Camilla raised her coffee cup. An old justice, Genesis added. My phone buzzed one final time. An alert from my monitoring system, someone trying to access David's hidden accounts. More corrupt executives? Stefan peered at the screen. More work for us, I corrected, already tracing the signal. Genesis looked over my shoulder, just like Dad would have done. Better, Camilla said, because now they have to deal with all of us. I opened a new terminal window, fingers flying over keys. Another conspiracy to unravel, another wrong to right. But this time I wasn't alone. This time I wasn't hiding. Ready to save the world? Stefan asked. No. I smiled, watching my code flow across the screen, ready to change it. Outside, waves crashed against the shore. Inside, my new life hummed with purpose. David thought he could erase me, use me, break me. Instead, he'd helped create something stronger, a legacy of truth, a family reunited, a mission clear as code. I didn't just survive him, I transcended him. Line by line, bite by bite, justice by justice. Time for lunch? Genesis asked. Almost. I initiated a new protocol named it Phoenix Rising. First, let's see who else needs their secrets exposed. Because some revenge isn't about destruction, it's about reconstruction, building something better from the ashes of what was lost, and I was just getting started.